People trying to say I'm only in the meeting. Got a cold with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen.
What is up, everybody? We got Thursday night football. Houston Texans going against the Buffalo Bills. JJ, my man, how are we feeling?
Honestly, I think this is going to be a good game, better than people expect. Because you got Houston, there's no real quarterback. You got Davis Mills, but I think they're going to lean on the run game here, hopefully. I mean, we'll talk about it some more. You got Josh Allen. Josh Allen always performs on Thursdays. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm kind of with you. I think it'll be closer than people expect. As far as quote unquote better defines, depends on what you define as good football. Because
Yeah.
defensive battle can also be entertaining for some people. But we'll get into some of the touchdown bets to get things kicked off. And the one thing that me and JJ always like to look at is the rushing touchdown percentage allowed. What teams are always going to score touchdowns, even when you get blown out 45-7. Even if you score 7, it's still a touchdown. So where are teams funneling touchdowns to? Where are they allowing it? Buffalo, as you can see, ranks the highest in rushing touchdown percentage allowed. So if somebody's scoring against Buffalo, 63% of the time it's on the ground and not in the air. Houston, on the other hand, for most of the season, they held that top spot. Recently, they've climbed down to 42.11, which is still ranks 24th. What's brought that back down, though, is the last 3 games, there's been 2 running back receiving touchdowns, which we would still count if you're looking to bet on a running back, and the Tennessee Titans, which I also don't really count. So I would still consider Houston a good matchup if you're looking for running back touchdowns. So, yeah, the short and sweet of it is if you're looking to bet touchdowns in this game for either side, look for the running backs. But speaking of the running backs, let's get into the rushing game. And JJ, like you said, this should be a good battle. A lot of it is centered for both sides around what the running game looks like. So what are you seeing?
Yeah. I mean, let's start with the Buffalo run game first. I got a lot to talk about with the Houston Texans, but Buffalo, James Cook is the guy. But I mean, I looked at the data for the last 5 weeks and primarily man gap concept. Look at the last 5 weeks for the Houston defense. I mean, Houston's defense across the board has been just great. Great pass rush, good secondary, and I mean, how they use their front seven. I mean, it's tough for man gap. They are top 5 in success rate, like fewest allowed, and then yards per carry, fewest allowed as well. It's going to be tough. We're going to see more 12 and 13 personnel. It might help. He might get a couple of big runs there, but just, play to play, it's going to take a lot. You see anything else from that?
Nothing specific that's different than what you said. I think for a few years now, the Houston run defense has been under the radar as one of the best run defense in the NFL, I think, and that hasn't changed recently either. I think adding Josh Allen in the mix, obviously he provides a different layer of run defense. You got to worry about him keeping it and holding it. So I don't know what the game plan around that specifically is. I feel like there hasn't been that many matchups for the Texans where they're facing somebody as mobile as Josh Allen. But I'm kind of with you that I just have faith in their run defense being good no matter who's on the other side. James Cook is going to get all the usage. It's just a matter of, can he do the James Cook magic, or is the Houston Texans defense going to step up? I lean the Texans, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just worry too much about Josh Allen, and now a play that they normally don't give up in the run game is there to be had. That's really the only difference I expect there. On the other side, that Bills run defense is not good at all. But as far as the Texans running the ball themselves, I'll let you get to your take.
Yeah. I'm not a believer in Woody Marks running the ball. This man has been awful in the run game. He gets stuffed at a ridiculously high rate. I think they have to go back to Nick Chubb here a little bit more. And I know you'll probably talk about the splits more with leading and trailing and all that. But I mean, just from an overall perspective, with Davis Mills at quarterback, they've been leaning more man gap concept as well. And Woody Marks has not been good doing that. I mean, but when we look at Nick Chubb, he goes from like 3 yards per carry to just over 5 yards per carry with man gap. If you compare like the zone and the man gap, that's a big difference. Yeah, he had 3 carries last game, but I mean, um, when you play the Titans and you only get what 18 carries, 44 yards, that's not cutting it. That's not.
It was a scare for a minute in that game.
Yeah.
Like if you bet, a lot of people bet on Woody Marks last game. You were not feeling good the whole game. So that's traditionally a running matchup where it's food. Like you want to face the defense. I can't remember if Simmons returned for that game or not, but I mean they weren't good before he got hurt either. So I don't think that's an excuse either way. It's
Yeah.
just you definitely expected more from Woody Marks in that matchup. And I am curious to see what the reaction is from a personnel and snap share standpoint going forward into this week. Especially, I think this is Woody Marks' first short week of his career, right? Is this the first Thursday night game for the Texans?
I think so.
I believe it is. But I mean, even if it isn't, short weeks are late in the season they're not easy for people that are new to the NFL. So this is a spot where Nick Chubb's veteran presence could be used here. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know that I'm necessarily with you that I think the snap share will go back because this is what you alluded to a
I
little
don't
bit.
think it will go back, but I do see at the very least, a slight increase in
Yeah,
Chubb's carries.
I mean he was only
Um,
at 14% rush share last week, 25% the week before. So it's at the floor right now. I do agree with you
yeah,
there.
and he
What
had
I
3 carries on for like 17 yards last week. I mean, honestly, for a guy that's getting like 5 yards a carry, 76% success rate on the ground, uh, the last couple of weeks, while what Rudy Marks is at like 44%, that's not good. Nick
and
Chubb, I think you have to get him a little bit more involved here.
yeah, and the split that I think would concern both, I guess, Woody Marks and Nick Chubb bettors in this scenario is Woody Marks hasn't, like, I think the last 5 weeks was somewhere around 80% snap share when they're losing because he's more of a receiving threat than Nick Chubb. But when it's tied or they're winning, it's a lot closer to 50-50. We saw last week with the Bucks, even there were times when they got down. They know that it's a run funnel with the Bills. They're a good pass defense. They're not a good running defense. They're one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. So you want to use all the cards you have to your advantage for as long as you can until you get down by 2 or 3 touchdowns in the second half. If I'm the coach, the game plan is to run the ball as much as possible. And if that's the plan and Nick Chubb is a better rusher, then I agree we could see more Nick Chubb. But then if they do get down, you're digging yourself into a hole. And now we start seeing more of that 80% from Woody Marks. And it could go either way. I think what's nice is we talked about because the Bills' run defense is so bad, but the Houston defense as a whole, we'll get to their passing game in a second, is so solid. This could be an uglier game where even if the Bills are winning and have control, it's never taken care of with a 3-score game. And if that's the case, then they're probably running the ball until the last 2 possessions of the fourth, anyways.
Yeah, and this is a very important game for the Texans to win. You know, you
Oh,
got
yeah.
a home game here on a Thursday short week. You can definitely catch a good team like the Bills slipping here. I mean, you're only the 8th
Lord
seed
knows
right
it's happened
now.
a few times already with the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills, they beat some bad teams, and I mean, that's about it. They beat some bad teams,
Oh, yeah.
or like some very hurt teams.
Well, let's get into the passing analysis
Yeah.
next then. And Keon Coleman looks like he's benched again. Missed a team meeting the Saturday before the game last week. He was already on the hot seat a little bit. And Bill's offense looked great. I don't know if that's the reason he's sitting again or if it's just like more punishment. But we're going to get more Travers again. Gabe Davis got some work last week. Khalil Shakir is one that I think is interesting to talk about as well because he hasn't practiced this week. He just had a kid. Congrats to him. but he missed the last 2 practices because obviously that's something he needs to be there for. I don't know how in tune he is with the game plan and the film and the prep for this game. How are you reading the receiving room and on the Bills side for now?
Overall, I'm not too excited about this receiving game. You're already going against the number 1 pass DVOA in the league in the Texans. It's not looking good. I mean, Keon Coleman, you're not really missing much there. But Dalton Kincaid, he's been such a focal point for this offense in the passing game and in the running game. I want to go back to the running game real quick. I said they'll probably run more 13 personnel. They actually run more 22 personnel without him. So less
Okay.
tight end sets. Yeah, Dalton Kincaid, they're going to be missing a lot. And then, like you said, short week, you're not having that prep work. And then you're missing your top receiver and Shakir, missing some of that already on top of that short week. It's not good. Probably see some Tyrell Shavers here, Gabe Davis. Honestly, I think where Shavers is, I think he's just like one play away from like a big play every time I see him.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to be one of those situations again. So, I mean, if you take him, might as well just ladder him.
Thank you for correcting my Shavers as well. I mixed him up with Travers for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Forgive me for that. But I'm with you. The short week, I always find those interesting in weeks like, or in matchups like this, because like we've been talking about, that Houston defense is legit, not just in the run game, but in the passing game. But you also need as much time as possible to prepare for a quarterback defensively against a guy like Josh Allen. When you have less time to get that game plan in and discuss it and go over it, I feel like you're just that much more likely to see those broken plays turn into something. The issue is that's what they are. They're broken plays. You're not seeing them throughout a whole drive. You're seeing moments. So on a broken play, you don't really know what we can't say, oh, this guy gets most of the targets on broken plays. It's kind of just a free for all. I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody and say, oh, yeah, they're weak against deep posts whenever the quarterback scrambles. I would be lying, and this data sample for that is going to be very small.
I think
So
we could see some broken plays here just for the
I think
simple
we
fact
will.
without Kincaid, Josh Allen does like to scramble more. I looked at the data when he's off the field, like 11.8%. Yeah, 11.98% versus 4.64% when he's on the field. And I mean, what we saw last week, there was a lot of broken plays, just him scrambling, just trying to make something out of nothing. That's who Josh Allen is. He's a gunslinger. He likes to play hero ball. That is what gets him in trouble, though, when he throws those interceptions, because he does play hero ball.
Oh, yeah.
But Houston, when you look at their defense, they've given up some scrambles lately. You know, K War is not much of a scrambler, but he had 3 carries, 33 yards last week. The week before that, I forget how many T Law had, how many carries,
35.
but he had like 35 rushing yards. So they're going to be getting out of the pocket.
Oh, yeah. Bo Nix, 36 the week before that. Mac Jones, 23 the week before that. Baker Mayfield early in the season with 33. So they are vulnerable to QBs using their legs. And that's where if you overcompensate because you don't have enough press or enough prep, then now what might have been an 8-yard run turns into either a big scramble or somebody overcommits, and now there's a wide open crosser that's going for 20 yards after the catch. So I'm not going to sit here and say the pass game is a good matchup, but I could see it overperforming relative to what we normally see for quarterbacks against the Houston Texans. On the other side of the ball, Davis Mills instead of CJ Stroud. However, Nico Collins his usage seems to be back, which is really nice. Jaden Higgins has emerged a little bit with his usage in his route share. There's still a little bit of Xavier Hutchinson and Christian Kirk in the mix. I'm still a fan of Jalen Noel, even though his route share isn't there. They can use the running backs out of the backfield. I have some takes here, but I'll let you have the floor first.
Yeah. I don't even know if we could say Nico Collins is back. I think he's better than ever with his usage, what he's seeing right now. I mean, Davis Mills has been throwing the ball, just peppering him with targets. I mean, that's all we've wanted to see for Nico the last 2 years. And sometimes they just don't go his way, even though he's one of the best receivers in the league. But now he's actually getting the usage. You see the numbers he's been putting up lately. I mean, obviously, he's always going to eat against his division. But I mean, Buffalo's not that good against wide receiver ones either. And I don't think they have the size to match up with him here, anyways.
I agree. And I think it is worth what I'm surprised wasn't talked about as much when CJ Stroud first went down is that Nico Collins' first year, his rookie year, Davis Mills was the quarterback.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's still there from that group. So he's the only one that Davis Mills has a previous rapport with. And we've all seen with all this drama around Shedeur Sanders this past week, everybody talks about how backup quarterbacks don't really get reps in between weeks. So Davis Mills doesn't have that many reps with Jaden Higgins and Kirk and all of them. He has reps with Nico Collins. So I'm not surprised that his usage looks really good in those games. He's had 99 and 115 air yards in the last 2 games. I think we see that continue, and it gets a little scary when you see that the Bills allowed the least passing yards per game in the NFL. But it's also very funneled to wide receiver ones, which works in our favor because as we can see, we have I'm looking at 2024, so it doesn't work. But I think it all started with Diggs a little bit in that one big week. And then ever since then, it's been like Drake London. He ate. Ibuka didn't do as much, but they really prioritized the ground game. Jalen Waddle went crazy. Rashee Rice, 80 yards. Ted McMillan, 99. So overall, there's not a lot of yards to be had, but it's all going to wide receiver ones. And there's not many wide receiver ones that have as big of a gap between them and the wide receiver two as Nico Collins does. So I think it's a big Nico Collins week. The one that I do want to get your thoughts on, JJ, because he seems to be pretty popular with this being an island game, is Jaden Higgins. Because his route share is up, his first read share is up, and he's become a popular topic of discussion. I don't know how confident I am in him as a route runner yet. I think he is athletic, so you can take advantage of him if you scheme him up in the right spots. But I think there is something to be said about a first read share going up, but they're still not putting up giant games. Like compared to his normal numbers, it is good, but they're not rivaling. Like there's nowhere close to Nico Collins. And if we're talking about a defense that funnels to wide receiver ones, that's a problem. So if the guy's not as open and his first read share is up but not getting as targeted, probably means he's not targeted because he's not open enough to get the target. So if that's the case, I'm not that high on Jaden Higgins. And I feel like I'm on an island with that take. If I'm wrong, you guys can flame me in the comments. If you're watching this video, you can bookmark this point of the video. But I'm off the Jaden Higgins hype train this week.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the last 3 weeks, I mean, just the last 4 weeks I'm going to go to the Buffalo Bills defense. They've been playing a little bit more man coverage than usual. It dropped significantly against Miami. That's just because they just went straight cover 3. It was like almost 60%. But outside of that, if you remove that game and look at the last 4 weeks in general, they've been playing about a top 10 rate of man coverage, surprisingly. And when you look at his man coverage stats, just 13% targets per out run, but he does have 2.13 yards per out run. Not too confident in getting targets here, but I mean, Nico Collins, 26% target per out run against man coverage and 1.63 yards per out run. I mean, I just think they just keep going back to Nico. I'm just not confident in Jaden Higgins here.
I agree, and I'm looking at these Jaden Higgins numbers as well. The air yards are up. 99 air yards last game, or in 2 games ago, 104 last game. But only 10 catchable targets in the last 2 games. And his ADOT is looks like 14.5. That's a pretty high ADOT number and not something I love to see against a defense that allows the 6th lowest air yards per game. I don't know. We'll see. Because like the numbers, they do look. I understand the hype that everybody has for him. I just don't think I'm joining in this week. I don't think this is the matchup for it.
Yeah, I think his line's low enough where he can just go over. But as far as like full confidence throughout the entire game, I'm not all the way there. Because when we look at his first read share the last 3 weeks against man coverage, just 8.3%. I know people have been referencing the last 2 weeks. If we check that, let's see what it's at. And 11.8%. It's Nico or nothing, honestly, for me.
I mean, it's simple math. You have a defense that funnels into the run game, and when they do get into the pass game, it funnels to wide receiver ones. None of those things are favorable for Jaden Higgins as wide receiver 2 of the team. That's yeah. But that's all I really have for that side of the ball. If I'm forgetting anything, let me know. But otherwise, we can move into the Q&A section.
Let's go to the Q&A.
All right, so I put up some questions onto Twitter, and I asked you guys what are some plays that you want us to research. Not all of them have edges, but I picked the ones that I think did, and that's what we're going to go over. And the first one that we'll go over is a little Josh Allen rush yards. And the reason I wanted to go over this is because we can look at how other quarterbacks have done in this matchup. Cam Moore, 33 yards. Trevor Lawrence, 35 yards. Bo Nix, 36 yards. For nearly all three of those quarterbacks, Cam Ward would miss by the hook to go over the 33.5 line, and their numbers are usually significantly lower than Josh Allen's is a good sign. Because we also see Mac Jones at 23, Baker Mayfield at 33 yards. I'm not really worried about Sam Darnold and Cooper Rush and Matthew Stafford if we don't have anybody in the similar players tab. So that's very good for him. And then the other thing that we can check is, like we said, Houston, very good in the pass game. If we isolate top 10 passing offenses, because like the Bills are going to have their moments when they're going to have to throw the ball, but if nobody's open downfield, Josh Allen's going to have to take off and run. This season, he has 42 or more yards in 3 of 4 games, with the one miss being Kansas City. And if I'm not mistaken, they took care of Kansas City throughout the game, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yep. So there's that as well. So I'm a big proponent for Josh Allen rushing yards based on the numbers here. And the other one I wanted to talk about is Nico Collins, because on the season, he's over in 5 of 9 games. However, in these 2 games with Davis Mills, 104 and 188 air yards. And it was starting to tick up even before CJ Stroud went down. So if we look up last 4 games, had 100 or more air yards. If we isolate those games with that kind of usage, over in 4 of 5 this season. If we want to check 2024, we can do that as well, and we're going to see more great numbers. So 2024 with 100-plus air yards, I wonder what the result's going to be, JJ. A lot of green. A lot of green. So it's pretty simple math. When he gets 100 air yards, he goes over this line. He's been getting 100 air yards a lot. This is a matchup where we should see that as well. JJ, I believe it's parlay time.
It is.
All right, let's get to it. This is the Lotto. All right, I guess we're starting with the Lotto this time. DraftKings was finally smart enough to limit our promo maxes, or I guess lower them down compared to what they've been the last few videos, and they put us at $5. So we're playing the Lotto using the boost at $5 here. Josh Allen, rush yards. Nico Collins, receive yards, 40-plus and 80-plus. You guys just saw us go over those. And Woody Marks and James Cook both to get a touchdown. We talked about how both these teams are big funnels to rushing touchdowns as opposed to passing touchdowns. So we're going to take the RB1, or the perceived RB1 as it stands, of both these offenses to get in the end zone. And for the primetime parlay, we got Bills, money line. Josh Allen is 8-0 on Thursday night games. I don't think that there's going to be enough time to game plan for him here. And if the weakness of the Bills defense is the run game, and we're not that confident in Woody Marks' ability to break off those big plays that you need, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Houston to take care of them there. And then we got James Cook touchdown, which we've already talked about, and Nico Collins receiving yards as well. Boost max on this for me was $10. So that's what we got locked in. I think that's everything, JJ.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, then in that case, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't already. The links to autofill both parlays will be in the description of the video. And if you guys want access to the website that we were showing on the screen for our research, just scan that QR code in the bottom right. Other than that, JJ, I believe you got to sign us off, and we'll get going.
Hey, James Cook, you let me down last week with your rushing yards. At least come through for the touchdown this week to make up for it. That's all I ask.
He will, and he's going to make us a lot of money. Good luck today, everybody. We will see you guys in the next episode.